Hello. Hello, everyone. It's the middle of the day. So I don't know if anyone's going to come on live, but I have something to say. It is the year of our Lord, 2020. The top of a new decade. So many new things are going on. So many changes. So much drama. It feels like Tyler Perry and Shonda Rhimes got together and wrote the plot for this year. I know y'all feel it's a lot. But I'm on here today because my heart is so grieved. It's like, what do I even want to address? Because there's so much happening. In light of life, I was gonna say in recent events, but this is our literal lives. I will tell you what hurts my heart the most. Jacob Blake was shot by the police. Shocker. When I saw this post and it was like, the fact that the police would still shoot this man in the back 7 times shows you like how much they don't care. Like they don't care. Like you can't tell me unless these policemen have been living under a rock that they don't know what the heck is going on in the world. They know they don't care. They're convinced they can get away with it. And why wouldn't they be? They have been. But let me tell y'all what grieves my heart the most. I saw Jacob Blake's sister give a speech, and she was like, I've only cried once. I'm not hurting. I'm not sad. I'm angry. And I'm not knocking her grieving process at all. We all have ways that we handle things. But it grieves me because that's what we do. Everyone is up in arms and, reasonably so, talking about how black men are getting killed by the police and by everyone, right? Because they are. In addition to that, I just want to bring to light the women behind the scenes. In the biblical days, Jesus walked around doing ministry. Literally walked because there was no cars. Sometimes he rode something out. A donkey, a horse, maybe. Most of the time he was walking. But in Jesus's walk, he had tons of followers and supporters. And many of them were women. Whether they were single or married, they left what they were doing to follow Jesus, and they supported his ministry. They gave money to his ministry. They did the same for Paul. Paul mentioned lots of women who supported his ministry, and even now today in the church, especially me growing up in black church, it's black women who hold up the bloodstained banner along with every other thing that goes on in the church. It's the women who empty their pocketbooks and sometimes even their family stuffer for what black women give to support black men in ministry. And the weight, the price, the cost of what black women sacrifice, what black women give every day to support, to carry a movement, to carry the weight of being attached to loving, birthing, raising a black man. It is heavy, a heavy burden. I think because we've carried it so long, people tend to just assume, we're okay with it. But it's a lot. I watched my mother and my grandmother get hit, beat, cussed out, talked crazy to, treated like literal doormats my whole life. Um, but they bore that weight. They would rather their husband, their boyfriend, hit them, kick them, beat them, rape them, pillage them, than turn them over to the authorities. We see that happen just now in media with Megan Thee Stallion. Also, Megan did this before when she got in a fight with her boyfriend and the police were called. She did not press charges on him. She ended up going to jail actually for fighting back. So I think that people assume we can handle it. But it's a lot of emotional weight to bear. We have to bear not only the weight of our own emotions and burying them so that we may not possibly grieve in the sight or the presence of a black man who has to go to work and, you know what I'm saying, be a black man, right? That we come home and we get the brunt of their emotional ineptness. We've seen it in movies. We've seen it in real life. Just the emotional turmoil. And I'm just we could just talk emotionally right now. Let's not even get into domestic violence. Let's talk about emotionally the brunt that we have to bear. We have to bear the brunt of caring for, loving, respecting a man who's emotionally detached from the world just to survive, somehow still believe that he loves us, somehow still trust that he's going to take care and provide for home. And not only that, on top of dealing with our own crap, that on top of dealing with miscarriages, that on top of dealing with our kids being talked crazy to and bullied in school, on top of being dealing with racism on their own, we have to be mothers to everyone. It's a lot. Y'all, I don't even have, I'm not married. And I believe that God has spared me from, the generational curse of domestic violence. And I'm grateful because I think it's it's our instinct to protect the men that abuse us. That's an instinct for every woman, but especially for black women. Because we would rather you hit us than them kill you. Because that's how much we love. That's how much we care. That's how much we give on the daily. Every day. To black men everywhere. There's not a black man that I know on the planet that I wouldn't roll over and that I wouldn't do everything in my ability to protect him. That's not only my brother, my own cousins, but that's any black man. Why? Because it's in me to do it, but why is it not in you to do it for us? Yes, Leo, we are resilient. We've had to be. What option do we have? We don't have an option. That's my thing, is this complex that's put on black women. And it's, obviously comes from being raped and pillaged and, actual slaves. We had no choice. And so now today, we still have trouble making a choice. We still have trouble going, okay, am I going to protect me or him? Am I going to am I going to speak up for myself, or am I going to allow this turmoil to keep going? Am I going to speak up for black women? Am I going to speak up for what we go through? I'm going to speak up for the fact that if my brother, my cousin, any black man I know gets shot by the police, I have to deal with that. Who's planning the funeral? Who's making medical decisions? Who's taking care of the kids that are left behind? Black women, we are bearing the weight of all of this. Y'all born with 2 strikes. I'm black and I'm a woman. What am I supposed to do in this world? Where do I go? Where's my refuge? Thank God I have Jesus. You don't have the Lord. What are you doing? Where do we go? Where can we hide? Where can we be safe? Where can we cry? Where can we be held? Where can we feel secure? Where can we feel loved and seen and known? Where can we go? Our men are broken. Our sisters are broken. Where do we turn? So songwriter says, who can I run to? I'm making this video because my heart is heavy. My heart hurts. Because so much is expected of us. And I'm now learning, I'm trying to unlearn the instinct, I would say, to protect everyone else before I protect myself. It's fed to us. The church feeds it to us. In church, I've always taught, like, hey, God first, others second, and me third. And, that's just, you think it's honorable. I think it's honorable to take care of everyone but me. Black women, we consider it a badge of honor to say that I may be run down, run over, pillaged, hurt, raped, abused, murdered. But as long as my brother's okay, as long as my kids are okay, as long as my pastor's okay, as long as it has to change. It has to change. We have to speak up, and black men have to step up, period. Now, I know a lot of fantastic black men who care and love and protect black women. I do. But there's so many who don't. Growing up, I was bullied by black boys all the time. They always had something to say to me, calling me ugly, calling me fat, calling me a gorilla, calling me a man. But they want to fill up on me in the dark, but want to walk down the hall with a white girl. That's abuse. That's crazy. Do you know what that does to the psyche of a black woman? To be told over and over and over you're not good enough for black men, but y'all are both black? I don't like to be told you're good enough for, niggas will want you for WAP, but they don't want to marry you. They don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially dark skin? Wow. No. You're fat. You're dark skinned. You're a black woman. Niggas want you in the dark, but they want to date who? Sanaa Lathan. Maybe. If they can't get something exotic. What? Yeah, it's a breeding ground for insecurity and for self-hatred. And then you grow up having to unlearn, having to somehow come out of it loving yourself. And a lot of it is false confidence. I had it for years, false confidence. I really thought I loved myself. I did. You couldn't tell me that I didn't. I thought that I loved myself, but I hated who I saw in the mirror. Because I grew up living a life being told that being a fat, dark-skinned black woman was the worst thing I could be. The worst. I was in church and in ministry, and I went to this huge evangelical church. And this is predominantly white. Thousands, a couple thousand members. We were in college ministry together, all of us. I can tell you right now, out of everyone who's in this ministry, only the white girls are married. And one black girl is married to a white man. Even in church we were being messaged that while we are the nurturers, the mammies of the situation, right? While we have all the things that biblically, Proverbs 31, we have all those things, but nobody's checking for us. Nobody's protecting us. No one desires us for anything other than what we can provide them. An ego boost, a stroke of the penis, you know what I'm saying? Something to make you feel like you're a man. But when it comes to commitment, when it comes to protection, when it comes to who's gonna walk on the street side of the sidewalk, we don't deserve it. I want to bring light to what we actually experience. In actuality, when I was in high school, a guy I used to mess around with sat up in my face in front of people and told me I look like a man. White men didn't do that to me. Okay? I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about black people. Why is it so hard? I don't know. Y'all tell me. If I don't understand how it's innately a part of black women to protect and cover anyone and anything that looks like us, but black men, it's so hard for you just to do it. It's so hard for you just to shut up. Or it's so hard for you just to speak up for someone who looks like your mother, your sister, your cousin. Why is it so hard? In the midst of the tragedies that are happening, I just wanted to make this video to bring light to someone that if you have a friend, a mother, a cousin, a sister that's a black woman, you see us crying, you see us mourning like it's our own, it's because it is. It's because it could be someone in our family. It don't take much for it to happen. And when you're a Christian and you're in the church and you're serving the body, I just want to challenge you to celebrate, to love on, to give space to a black woman, to give her space to crawl up out of her skin for 38 seconds. And let us be human. Let us be human. Give us the same opportunity for vulnerability as you give to white women, as you give to anyone else. I've been told, y'all, I remember being 4 years old watching the Jurassic Park with my family. I was sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce, telling myself, don't let anyone know you're afraid. At 4 years old. It's been messaged to me as a black woman my entire life to put on a poker face, never let them see you down. Because at any moment of weakness, they will take advantage of you and you'll be dead. What I want is space. I want space to not have on a cape. I want space to not be, worried about the safety of my family, worried about my cousin my cousins, my brother who are just black. Like, that's all they're doing is being black. And that's enough for them to be killed. I want space to work through the trauma that weighs on my life. And I want that for black women. I want us to be free. I want us to be free. The presence of God should be a safe place. Most of the time, you go into church, black women are being run to death. They're being run down. If you see something popping off, it's because a black woman did it. It's because we sacrifice our time, our money, our family in the name of ministry, in the name of pastors and missionaries barking down our throats telling us it's our duty to God. Giving, serving, yes. Give, serve. Love. Take care of people. Bless people. Cry with them, mourn with them, rejoice with them, but do not go beyond your capacity. Because once you get beyond the brink of your capacity, it's breaking you to heal others, and that's not in the Bible. The Bible says we need to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. But that's not what we're doing. We are loving from a place of brokenness. We're loving from a place of trauma. We're loving from a place of abuse. The love is being squeezed and tormented out of us. And we're left dry. So, yeah. Y'all, we have to do better by one another. And we have to do better by ourselves. So, black women, this is my charge to you. Take care of yourself first. The songwriter said, I'm not used to putting myself first, but, it feels kind of right. I'm going to try that too. I'm going to try putting myself first and see what happens. A song came out recently called WAP. And the songwriters, Megan and Cardi, you sure right. Our love can't heal. It has holes in it. Everyone's up in arms about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion putting out this highly sexualized song. Obviously, the song's quite disgusting. But, and everyone's saying that they've set women back, and this is why Megan got shot, and this is why Cardi got cheated on, and because they're so hypersexual and sexualized. And I just want to say, while I think that waiting for marriage is reasonable, what I want to say about it is people always have an attitude when black women want to put themselves first. This song's not about the sexual nature. It's about the fact that a woman stood up and said, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want. I'm going to use a nigga for it. When we have been used for it forever. Forever. So, I don't knock them for that. You know what I'm saying? Because they said their piece. And I think it's time for women to say their piece. I think it's time for women to stand up and say, hey, the Lord declares me a person. Jesus was a feminist. Jesus made huge strides in the care and the love and the affirmation and the sheer acknowledgement of women. He was ridiculed for it. For acknowledging women and their place and giving them a voice. And we say we're his. We say we're Christians, Christ followers, Christ imitators, but we don't give space for women. We don't give space for black women. We run them down in the church. You can't say that you don't. My mother, my grandmother, my aunties were run down. Run down under pastors who, you know what I'm saying? Like, they love the Lord. They're great men. But they ran down the women around them. And we did it willingly. So all I'm saying is, what I want us to do is stop. I want us to stop. I want us to think. And I want us to take care of ourselves. Get a therapist. Okay? Your auntie is not your therapist. Okay? Your homegirl is not your therapist. Okay. Get somebody who can help you work through the trauma in your life that you've experienced, because it's time to change the trajectory of our lineage. And the only way we can do that is to do the work. My grandmother couldn't do the work. My grandmother couldn't do the work. Her mother was a slave. She couldn't do the work. My grandmother was married to a very abusive man who his parents were slaves. She couldn't do the work. My mother tried. But growing up in the home she grew up in, having the experiences she did, growing up, y'all, I'm from a very racist town. My mother, she tried, but she couldn't do the work. So it's on me. And I'm doing it. I'm doing the work. Because I don't want my kids to bear the brunt of the traumatic racial history in my family. I want them to be free. I want them to be children. I don't want them to have to grow up as fast as I did. So, do the work. Get a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, if these black men won't act right, get you a white one. That's what they doing. All right. I love y'all. I'm done on here crying. I got to go. But God bless you. I appreciate you. And listen, you're valuable. You have value. You have purpose beyond what the world is trying to put on you. Okay? God loves you. So do I. Peace.